This episode is brought to you by Communications Training for Coffee Teams, a new Map It Forward workshop tailored to get your team communicating more confidently to improve general mental health as well as business profitability. Click the link in the show notes for further details. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is episode 5 of our 5-part series. With Diego Baraona, we are talking about the auction. The private auction that Los Pirineos is hosting for the first time for 10 coffees on the 10th of July. For the first time ever. And in this episode, to wrap up this series, we're going to talk about what does something like this do long term for a coffee growing region. So if we look at something like Panama, the kind of impact that's had for particularly top tier producers, and then the flow on effects after that has been pretty astonishing. What are your expectations, Diego, for what it could do for El Salvador?
Like we said before, it's the goal for long term for the country is just to drive more sales and to create awareness about the quality and the value that the coffee here has. I feel like by doing this for a long term, I guess also parallel to Cup Excellence, it's gonna, boost our image as a origin. Because if you notice, the prices for Cup Excellence here in Salvador are very different to other countries, and you wonder why. They're amazing coffees, well, why are people paying less for them? It's very interesting. So by doing these auctions, you're gonna get the ball rolling and gonna get a better branding outside, a better. Just like more awareness of the actual quality and value of the coffee here.
Does something like that encourage producers to start shifting the way that they're producing coffee? Does it elevate the standard all around?
Yeah, for sure. I told you before, and I told people here also, like, let's change the mentality of the C price. Let's forget about the C price, and let's focus on quality and being unique and different. It might be like a coffee that's grown at a low altitude, but like you gotta use marketing. I mean, coffee is also about marketing.
Wait, we need to stop on that one. We need to talk more about that. Coffee is all about marketing, right?
It's all about marketing for sure. So
Tell me more.
You gotta learn ways of like market your coffee, and the auction is a great way to do it. You can also, I read this article on PDG. It says like auctions can also be tied to social awareness projects. So that's also a good way you can link your social awareness or a social project to your auction. So there's many ways you can get creative about this and use auctions for a platform to boost your value and quality, to price your copy differently, for sure.
Have you met resistance with other producers? Are they on board with your thinking?
I've had some complicated arguments of all the producers trying to teach me, and I get it. I know my place. I know I'm very, very young, and I'm not very experienced in this for sure. And I know there's people older than me that have way much more experience than me. But like the difference between them and me is like it's gonna be a hard thing to say. That I'm open to change. I'm open to hear people. People over me, it's really hard to talk to them.
Well, we're in such an interesting transitional time in the world's history, right? Like this is going to a lot of the conversations you and I have off the pod, not on the podcast, about how, transitioning to digital currencies and what does the future of an industry look like given a lot of the change that's going to happen, geopolitical change, economic change, all of this kind of stuff. I mean, what does the industry look like in El Salvador in 10 years from now if we are starting to see to these new kind of technologies, do you think?
It's going to be less of us. I think so. It's going to be less producing coffee. Because
why?
The amount of people like have been trying to, not force me, like trying to brainwash me. You gotta do this, you gotta do it this way. But I haven't really listened to a lot of people. Because I was like, I want to do my own thing my own way. Like this is my thing. It works this way. I'm gonna do it this way. But
Yep.
people are so into like trying to like tell you what to do because it's this way. This is where you do it. But like
This is how it's supposed to be done.
I'm supposed to be, but like it's
How's the
not
C
for
market
me.
helping you, given that's how you're supposed to be? Like, how's that going for
Exactly.
you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
And those bank loans at 30 to 50%.
yeah. Even bank. Oh god, banks. Yeah, that's we have to talk about banks later on.
We could do that offline.
Yes. Yeah.
But this is what I see as such an exciting time for the future of
Yeah.
our industry is we have open-mindedness injecting itself across the entire supply chain.
And COVID taught us
Mm.
we have technology with us right now. Let's use it in our advantage. So virtual private auctions, it's here, it's there, it's very.
We know it works. We've got
Works.
proven benchmark results that show us that it's worked.
It works. So basically, what do we have to do? We have nothing to lose by trying. We have completely zero, nothing to lose. So we have the tools here. So let's use the tools. Let's innovate. Let's take the step forward. Let's stop being like being in the old ways. Let's keep moving on and be creative with it.
So when you say that you feel that there is going to be less producers in 10 years from now, is that attributed to financial collapse? Is that attributed to climate change? Why do you think that that's going to be the case?
Yeah, one for sure is climate change for sure. I think I talked to you in the last series about like one of the challenges of climate change. Production costs that we talked before also skyrocket as well. So it just doesn't make sense to keep seeing production like in the old ways or like in the traditional ways. We have to like find new ways of like pricing coffee differently, marketing coffee differently, adding value differently. Those three things need to be put on the table for all the producers, for not me, for all of us, and see how we can like innovate.
Yeah, get ahead of it and figure out how we survive this time, given that we're informed and we know what's coming. Right?
Yeah, because you also are aware like a tsunami is coming for sure. The tsunami is coming. So I'm trying to run to the mountains right now.
Yep. So actually, while I have you, I've been hearing a lot about labor shortages with regards to pickers in El Salvador. That's a real thing, right?
For sure, yeah. We were able to get pickers this harvest, but like less than usual. I would say on average, I think I got like 20 to 30 less people this year. So that's a lot of people.
Okay.
Yeah, so for sure, it's a big issue for the entire country.
And I mean, the cost of production is going to go up just because of that, which means that people are going to have to find ways, independent of the sea market, to get higher prices for their coffee. It is so volatile in the sea right now. It's just ludicrous that producers are beholden to that. It just doesn't seem fair.
Yeah, it makes no sense. And it's so unstable. Obviously, why is to base your operation, your work pricing on that? Because it's so unstable. So, like you said, volatile. It makes no sense.
But Diego, that's how it's always been done.
Oh yeah. It's mind blowing.
So that's why we should continue to do it the same way it's always been done, right?
Yeah. Well, there's this term that I found today in the morning. I was doing some research and also PDG article. This that was really interesting. It's called premiumization. I think it's called the process of
premiumization.
Yeah. The process of using exclusivity, ready, and superior quality to drive up brand appeal and prices for products. That just sounds. That for me was like I read that. I was like, wow.
Yep, but that's Los Pirineos in a nutshell. Like that's what you guys are. Exactly. That's what you do. It describes your brand.
Exactly. So that's what we should be all like aspiring for. Slowly.
I think so too. The next 10 years is going to be wild, and there'll be at least 10 series that you're going to do on this podcast over that time.
I gotta find new things to bring to the show.
You have to constantly innovate just so you can come on the podcast and talk about it. Well, I'm happy to be that driving force for you. So as we wrap up this series, excuse me, folks, there is going to be a mailing list that you're going to be able to sign up to so that you can pre-register before registration opens, which is what pre-registration means, Lee. So there is going to be a mailing list. We will include a link in the show notes. And if you miss the link, go to Los Pirineos Instagram and you'll be able to get it there. Diego, thank you. This has been a joy to be able to be a part of helping the world understand what you guys are doing. You know, I'm a big fan of everything that you do, and I was a big fan of your dad before. And your family are fantastic. So I wish you every success with this auction.
Thank you so much, Lee, for having me. It's always a great time talking to you. It's really nice to be honest, and like I said, I love being vulnerable in the show. It's really refreshing for me. And thank you for offering this platform for me as well, and for other people in the industry as well. That's awesome.
You're welcome. I want, especially after we did the Nolan Hurty series, I got a lot of feedback from men saying thank you for showcasing men who can be vulnerable in the coffee industry on this podcast. And a big thing that I have told you that I really praise you for is the strength in your vulnerability that you showcase in everything that you're doing. And I want to see more of it for men in our industry. It just seems to be, I was so surprised by how many men gave me that feedback about how nice it was to see that vulnerability.
You know, and I had this talk with my team. Like, I feel like I told them, like, I really like that as a team that we recognize. I mean, 3 years ago, we recognized that we were doing bad. We recognized that we were in a big mess, in a big hole. By recognizing that and accepting that, we were able to fight it and find ways. But sometimes people, like, because they don't want to show weakness and accept it, they guess themselves, they keep taking the hole bigger and bigger and bigger, bigger and bigger. So I think step one is to accepting that they're in a bad place. Accept it, and then, okay, step two, what are you going to do about it? So that's the mentality that we should all have, or try to practice.
And step three, take action.
Take action for sure, yeah.
That's the part that a lot of people are like, oh, what's the problem? I know what the problem is, and how can I fix it? I know how I can fix it. And then they just sit on the couch and do nothing. Go get it done. Get it done, folks. Thanks, Diego. We will see you in the next series, and I'll see you in Athens.
Yes, I'm excited to see you finally.
Finally. Will you sign us off?
Yes.
With peace, love, and peanut butter?
Peace, love, and peanut butter, everybody.
Have an amazing rest of your day, everyone. Bye. Thanks for tuning in, friends. There are 2 ways you can support this podcast. Firstly, become a paid member of our YouTube channel. Secondly, you can join our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video before you leave, and check the show notes for more information. Now, this is what you should check out next.